Welcome back to the Olympus Report, Demigods, Monsters, and Gods Alike. San Diego Comic-Con week does not disappoint once again. Thanks to Entertainment Weekly, we just got our first official high-definition look at Percy Jackson and the Olympians Season 2. We got not only one, but two moving posters, several images, and cast interviews. But first, let's take a look at the moving poster. The poster features Percy, Annabeth, and Grover on a ship, most likely the Queen Anne's Revenge, staring at something in the distance and then striking a pose. We talk a lot about how much Walker has grown up, but we do not talk enough about Arion. He's almost like a different person here, which I think works for Grover this season. He's more mature and confident, and you can see that in his look. The second poster is similar to the first, but has them striking a battle pose at the end. I really love the look and the outfits for this season. Similar to last season, but more improved in my opinion. Alright, now let's take a look at the stills. Up first, we get a really good look at Annabeth. We can see she's holding her Yankees cap and dagger, and I really love this look for her. Definite badass. One of my favorite things about Percy Jackson Season 1 was the look of it and the cinematography. And this shot is just absolutely breathtaking. There's so much detail packed into this frame. If we look in the taxi window, we can see a glimpse of a Grey sister. And I also just really love the design of the taxi. The swirl pattern feels modern yet ancient Greek at the same time. I believe this scene takes place after Percy and Tyson blow up their school, unintentionally. I think this is Annabeth holding a dagger at Tyson. Up next, we get our first look at Luke Castellan in Season 2. I love the shallow depth of field here. The sharp focus of Luke against the blurry background. There's a similar pattern on Luke's jacket to the one on the taxi. And I really feel like this brings the whole season together. And I really like this look for Luke. It feels colder, more sinister. Now I'm gonna go out on a limb and make a crazy theory here. He's riding a black horse. Is it Blackjack? I'm gonna say it could be. Next, we've got the one and only Percy Jackson. I believe this shot takes place right as Percy, Tyson, and Annabeth get to camp and face down the automaton bulls. Again, these shots are just so visually appealing. I'm going to use the word depth of field once again. If you don't know what that is, it's a film term for when the subject is in focus, but the background is blurry. And I think it works so well for Percy Jackson. It really makes the characters pop, but also makes the scenes feel tense and claustrophobic. As Walker stated last year, we can see that Riptide is just slightly longer this season. And I like the fact that Percy's in red, because he's in green so much of the time. Red also happens to be my favorite color. Next, we get a really clear, crisp shot of the chariot race. In the background, we can see several Camp Half-Blood campers. But the main focus of the still is Clarice. As we saw in the teaser clips, each cabin's armor represents the god. Athena had an owl, and here we can see that Ares has a shield, maybe with a boar on front. It's also just super spiky and warlike, very Ares coded. We can also see there's a boar on the chariot. Now in the background, we can see a camper with goggles on their helmet. I think this might be a Hephaestus camper. What do you think? Next, we get a shot of our goat boy, Grover, and we can finally see his outfit, confirming that this shot in the teaser was in fact Grover. But my favorite thing about this shot, we finally get to see Grover's panpipes. I absolutely adore this look. It's more mature, and he looks like a searcher, headed out on the very important quest of finding Pan. Next, we get another shot of Annabeth during the chariot race. Or, well, I think this is actually technically after the chariot race, probably right before the Stamalian birds attack. We can see a better look at the racetrack. There's a horn, probably for announcements, and where Chiron and Mr. D would sit. And then we've got the stands, where the campers would sit. Next up, we got another shot of Percy, up on that stand that I pointed out in the previous still. Here we can see Percy's armor in detail, which features a hippocampi. Very fitting for Cabin 3, and very fitting for this season, as the hippocampi will play a major role in the story. Now, what is this scene? Well, I think it's obvious. It's Percy playing Dean Martin to scare away the Stamalian birds. And I love that they kept this and didn't change it. Even though the TV show takes place in present day, Half-Bloods still very much live in the past, as they can't use technology, so they would have a boombox with cassette tapes. Do you guys even know what cassette tapes are? Or am I aging myself here? However, I do wonder if maybe they'll change it from Dean Martin to something else. It could be kind of funny to hear Pink Pony Club blasting from a boombox. Either way, I love everything about this shot and the costume design, and I love the detail of the added dirt to Percy's face. Finally, we have an image featuring Mr. D and Tantalus. And I hate him already. Nothing against the actor, but he is definitely doing a good job of portraying this horrible person. I love the added detail of giving Mr. D a popcorn bucket, as he's often seen with in the book, to have a snack as he entertains himself with demigod troubles. I also love the detail of what I'm pretty sure is Mr. D or Chiron's office. Maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed, we might see Seymour? Alright, now let's talk the article and the cast interview. One change we're already kinda aware of is the fact that the show is not told solely from Percy's perspective, so we're going to get a lot more character stories. Season 2 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians will expand beyond Percy and Annabeth's point of view and quest, featuring multiple storylines, including Clarice's mission, Grover's solo journey, and Luke's growing rebellion, and relationship alongside the Titan King Kronos, and a rising faction of rogue demigods. I'm excited to see these storylines. I've read the book so many times that it's exciting to get new content, and it really seems like the actors are giving their all to the performances. Walker, Leah, and Arian got a bit scraped up on set. Walker bruised his chin falling out of a bed, most likely the first scene of the book. Arian got several nosebleeds, and Leah accidentally sliced her face with her dagger. We thank you for your dedication. Arian also had this to say about Season 2. It's going to be a lot bigger, a lot more epic, a lot wetter. I haven't been dry in a year or two. I mean, I love what I do, but this sucks. All of my clothes are constantly soaking wet all the time. On behalf of the fan base, thank you for your dedication and hard work. It really seems like Season 2 is going to be so much bigger than Season 1. Here's what Leah had to say about it. I loved the first season, but it was just the three of us fighting huge monsters. This season, it's several quests going on at once. It almost feels like everything was a complete upgrade. And the producers chimed in as well. The locations and battles are so much more fantastical than last season's, which presented new challenges for the producers. As the size, scope, and scale of the show exploded across the board, the producers took their time to do it all justice. This is not a road trip across America in a Greyhound bus and stopping at diners and the St. Louis Arch. They sail off the map, straight into the Sea of Monsters, which doesn't exist. We had to create it all. We had to make it even bigger. Just from the little bit we've seen, I already think it looks fantastic. One of the biggest issues of Season 1 was the lack of action, but it seems like they've really fixed that issue. According to producers, the fight with Scylla and Charybdis took 2 weeks to shoot and was a lot of fun, but also super scary. The article also talks about how large the chariot scene was, and how much work went into making it not only possible, but safe for our actors. I also think the fact that most of this season was shot on location is going to be a big help as well. Much of the first season was shot on a volume stage, which uses virtual technology to simulate environments indoors. But it's not a substitute for filming on real sets and locations. The volume is a super cool piece of technology, but sometimes its scenes can feel closed in and claustrophobic. So some of the scenes they shot on location are the ironclad warship battle at sea, chariot races on a quarter-mile track, the Princess Andromeda cruise ship housing Kronos' army, the jungle cave lair of the giant Cyclops Polyphemus, and the tropical island spa of the mysterious Cece. And I can't wait to see them on my screen. The article also confirms that Clarice's army will feature several different soldiers and not just Confederate ones. You can see this one soldier from way back Olympus days, and he's in a Grecian-style robe and sandals. And then you see a Japanese Imperial soldier standing next to a British soldier, standing next to a French soldier. It's just amazing to see them all lined up next to each other. Shout out to Mythos Archives for first catching and pointing out this detail. If you like in-depth, extremely well-researched reviews, breakdowns, and more, consider subscribing. Link down below. Leah and Walker also talked about shooting the siren scene and how emotional it was not only for their characters, but for them. They didn't want to mess it up. and I'm sure they did an absolutely fantastic job, but Leah had something interesting to say about it. Jeffries warns there's a huge change from the source material, but both actors believe it makes the moment even better. Changes do tend to scare me, but I'm willing to give it a shot. One change from season 1 that I really did enjoy was the flashbacks of little Percy, and it seems they're going to be continuing that in season 2, but with Annabeth. We get a lot more of Annabeth's backstory in season 2. Riordan says, "It can get really, really dark, especially the scenes with baby Annabeth. Young Annabeth will be portrayed by a different actress, but young Luke is being portrayed by Charlie Bushnell. Here's what he had to say about it. It feels like I've played 3 different characters on the show so far," Bushnell says. "Season 1 Luke was so different from Season 2 Luke. He is much more of a leader this season, because he's not living this double life anymore. But also, flashback Luke when he's 14 is so different. I, for one, cannot wait to see the flashbacks. But another change that was hinted at in the story is Polyphemus. While he's written in the book as, well, pretty stupid, Polyphemus gets a modern update this season in the same way that last season's progressive depiction of Medusa did. I am all for this change. Like Rick Riordan said, these books were written a really long time ago, and it's always good to update the source material. Wow, that was a lot of news. Maybe too much news. Just kidding, there's never too much Percy Jackson news. I feel like the only thing we didn't get a look at was Tyson, but hopefully we will this week at the San Diego Comic-Con panel. But let me know what your favorite still was down in the comments below. But until next time, I'm signing off, and please, as always, stay safe.